What's going on, everybody? I'm Darren Criss, and you're watching That Media Show, the only show that talks about movies, indie film, and post-production. It's like watching Entertainment Weekly, except with only the good stuff and a lot less fluff. The UK's Channel 4 has painstakingly recreated the set of the Stanley Kubrick film The Shining as part of their More 4 season, which spotlights Kubrick films and the director. In a 65-second spot shot in one take, we get a complete walkthrough of the recreated set. 55 actors, meticulous research, a cast and crew which is a spot-on reproduction of the original film was created by Channel 4's in-house team, Channel 4 Creative Services. Stu Maschwitz, co-founder of The Orphanage, a post-production company in San Francisco, and the author of the DV Rebels Guide, has posted an article where he links to White, Red, Panic, the short film by director Ayaz Werich. The film, shot completely on a Canon HV30 without any special equipment, is available on Vimeo and runs at about 8 minutes in length. There are before and after stills, which show the color correction process, and a thread on the forums on the Rebel Cafe where the director talks about the short. Also on the Rebels Guide is a discussion about 1,000 Words, the film by Sean Kennedy of Mac Dad Productions, which features a woman, presumably in the future, taking photos with what we'll just call a camera thing. The effects created with off-the-shelf software are far better than you'd expect for a short film. And to complete our Stu Orphanage love fest, Frank Miller, author and co-director of Sin City, has directed a new movie called The Spirit, which involved a number of Sin City-esque special effects, which, like Sin City, involved work by The Orphanage. Miller, who is by now famous as a writer, artist, and a newfound director, has a great entry at Comic Book Movie where he talks about the role of computer-generated images and how Stu Maschwitz takes him to school on the subject. Speaking of effects, the Visual Effects Society has posted what can only be described as a Jerry Maguire-style manifesto about the state of visual effects in the entertainment industry. This 12-page document has caused quite a stir as a frank and unfiltered discussion about the changing role of visual effects and digital work in film. The document examines conditions in the visual effects industry with a list of suggestions about how post-production and production need to work together more closely. A thought-provoking bombshell for their first foray into writing what they are calling a white paper. Paul Del Vecchio from Triple E Productions has posted his grand prize-winning short film for the Weinstein Company and George Romero's Diary of the Dead DVD competition. Triple E's first film, Forever, won awards at both the Long Island Film Festival and the Big Fish Film Festival. The final day, his short film will be featured on the DVD release of The Diary of the Dead. David Fincher, director of Seven, The Game, Fight Club, Panic Room, and Zodiac, has been busy working on The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, starring Brad Pitt and Cate Blanchett. Button is an adaptation of the F. Scott Fitz Hemingway story originally published in 1922. The film, which has gone through more ups and downs than the price of gas, was originally written by Robin Swickard and to be directed by Ron Howard, and starring John Travolta, but then Charlie Kaufman wrote a draft to be directed by Spike Jonze. Jim Taylor was involved at some point in the story, and even Eric Roth wrote a version. Warner and Paramount joined forces to co-produce the film, dropping Gary Ross, who was slated to direct. Finally, David Fincher got involved, and the film is slated for a December 19th release date, pushed from May and then November. The latest version of the film is written by Eric Roth, who wrote the screenplay for Forrest Gump, Ali, The Insider, and Munich. Spike Jonze just isn't getting any breaks. After his loss on Benjamin Button, his other film, Where the Wild Things Are, written by author Dave Eggers, was completed and shown in LA to select audiences, and then dropped by Warner Brothers, who says they are looking to, quote, completely reshoot the entire film, which had a budget of $75 million. Warner cited, "The film is too weird and too scary, and that character of Max, who is the main character, is just not likable in the film." The LA audiences lucky enough to see the film have reacted by saying it's dark and subversive and more of an adult film and not suitable for children large or small. Jonze has said, "Do you really want this movie to be relegated to the level of children's movies like Cat in the Hat or How the Grinch Stole Christmas?" No accounting for taste over at Warner Brothers, I suppose. Fincher also announced a movie version of Rendezvous with Rama, which could please die-hard Arthur C. Clarke fans, as it, like Fight Club, has been called unfilmable. Fincher recently directed an Apple 3G iPhone commercial spot called Hallway, which was shot in New York at the Fifth Avenue store and shown at the WWDC 08 as the iPhone launch video. Fincher was working on a remake of the cult classic Heavy Metal, but unfortunately it was scrapped. Warner Brothers, true to form, announced the simultaneous release of both the DVD and Blu-ray version of the runaway hit film Speed Racer on September 16th. The 3-disc set will contain both the film as well as the DVD game Speed Racer Crucible Challenge, and the Blu-ray version contains a digital copy for your iPod or iPhone or other media player. According to sources, the Blu-ray version of the Matrix trilogy, also by the Wachowski brothers, will be released on the same day. OpenCut, the open source project dedicated to filming, sharing, and having contests which revolve around editing footage from the Red One camera, has announced OpenCut 2, the Alpine Meadows shoot. Their first project, OpenCut 1, was a short film with a $25 entry fee where you were given footage and a script and edited a short film shot on the Red. They just announced Carson Kirpanik as the winner of the first OpenCut. For OpenCut 2, you will edit a 60 to 90 second commercial spot. There's a $75 entry fee, and you have to provide your own hard drive. Like the first OpenCut, which offered an Aja IO HD system as the main prize and 1 week of Red camera rental, the new contest features a G-Speed raid, 1 week Red rental, and an Alpine Meadows season pass as prizes. The next contest, called OpenCut 3, looks to be a music video. Speaking of Red, they recently released Red Rushes, a batch processing application which converts Red footage into TIFF, DPX, and QuickTime files. Avid DNX HD users are currently out of luck, but the tool is very handy for moving footage around to all those applications that don't support the Red codec, including most Windows-based systems. Smoke and Mirrors led the visual effects for the new Subaru spot, Fly Out, which features a bird sanctuary and many rare bird species. A flock of literally thousands of birds fly over a photographer and a Subaru, of course, and no actual birds were used anywhere in the spot. All the work was done by the creative team of Sean Broughton, who led Phil Aka, Kirk Balden, and others in creating the whole scene on their Flame system using 2K, HD, and SD footage. Speaking of Flame, Autodesk will be at SIGGRAPH 2008 demonstrating their software, which includes Stitcher, Flame, Image Modeler, Maya, Mudbox, Motion Builder, Toxic, and just about every other high-end 3D compositing and modeling tool. Autodesk will be hosting masterclasses during the show on August 11th to August 14th. And finally, Digital Tutors, the training company with a spotty record at delivering high-quality training videos, has released the Artist's Guide to XSI 7 along with help from Softimage, the creators of XSI. Softimage has recently released XSI Ice. Try saying that 3 times fast. Ice is an open platform for changing, and some might say programming, how XSI 3D effects and tools work. It uses a node-based approach and takes advantage of parallel processing and multi-processor systems. It's complicated, but should make 3D tool developers, especially those who use XSI, very happy. I'm Darren Criss, and that's all for this week. Next week we'll talk more about Comic-Con and the movies discussed there, several visual effects houses and their projects, and then we'll take a closer look at SIGGRAPH 2008. All this and more on That Media Show. Channel 4 has painstakingly recreated the set of the... Oh, fuck. You know when you just have a sneeze wanting to come, but it won't? I just want... It's so annoying. It's like, come on, man. I just want to fucking sneeze that shit. As part of their More Force season, which spotlights Kubrick's films, and the... shit, man. Fincher also announced a movie version of Rendezvous with Rama, which could please die-hard I need water. OpenCut, the open source project dedicated to me not being able to read words ever.